we did have some business that took place. This would have been Friday, if I remember correctly. Yeah, man, right in the middle of Lovers Holiday. You like, hey, man, I love you, bro. I love you too. Hold on. I got to take this call. Hey, look, man, we want your playbook, bro. We appreciate everything you done, but you got to go, unfortunately. All right. So, yeah, for those that don't know, man, Preston Smith was released on Friday, man. And it was for a couple of reasons. Nothing that he did negative. It was no Melvin Ingram situation where he was disgruntled or asking for the release or anything like that. But from a just simple business standpoint and a overall production standpoint, it made sense. When you're talking about what we saved in cap space for this all season, 2025, but you saved $13 million by simply releasing Preston Smith, man. That's, in the words of Young Thug, man, business is business, baby. All right. That's just, we saved $13 million and you're not our number one or number two edge rusher. And you can make a case that you're not our third edge rusher due to young Nick Herbig as well, man. So being able to save $13 million on what is essentially your fourth outside linebacker, to me, is a no-brainer. You do that. The next part is this, is zero dead money. That's the other beautiful part. So we're saving 13 mil, have zero dead money to carry over from this move. To me, that's a huge benefit. Now, the next part, and this is what I was talking about earlier when I was saying that, hey, man, I don't know what we are gearing up for, but we're about to do something big. By doing this move right here, we got about $50+ million in cap space. Yeah, 50 plus. That's a lot of cap space, man. That's a lot of money. That's a lot of disposable income to go out there and trick it off on something nice. I mean, we know it's receivers out here we've been talking about. We know it's obviously quarterbacks that we've been talking about. I mean, yeah, I don't really know any running backs who's about to break off like that. But yeah, man, we done cleared up some space. I don't know what we got. We got plenty of options, though. Plenty of directions we can go. Okay, plenty of directions we can go. And that's why the fun part is when you hear the people like, oh, but I don't think we do. I don't think we're just like, well, we got 50 of them things. We about to do something. I could tell you about to do something, all right? Yeah. Now, I don't know who or which version we go with that. And that's, like I said, we're going to try to spitball to find out. But to me, man, that was a big part of why the Steelers decided to release Preston Smith, man. Now, just give some backstory. Obviously, we know we traded for Preston back in November of 2024, this past season, and all the compensation was a 7th round draft pick from this year's class, right? So 2025 7th round pick. We sent that over to Green Bay. They sent over Preston. That's all this was, man. So with that, being able to save this type of money, and at the time when Preston came over, I mean, he did give us some production. You know, was it 8 games he played, 2 sacks, forced fumble, 13 tackles. But it obviously got weird down the stretch. Last 3 games, he plays in 1 inactive in the game leading up to the final game of the season, played in the final game of the season, and then was inactive, healthy scratch, which is a different version of inactive. We're not talking about a guy that was injured. We're talking about a guy that was healthy, and they just decided, man, I would go with this player because of what he might bring special teams value wise, right? So he was that type of inactive the 2 out of the final 3 games. So when you factor in those type of things, yes, the writing was kind of on the wall that you could save a lot of money, and it wasn't a guy that was largely a part of the rotation from a defensive standpoint. But like I said, man, 50+ million in cap space, baby. I mean, when you're talking the Deebo Samuels of the world, right? You can go get you a Deebo and make sure you get that deal done whatever way you need to get done. Cooper Kupp. You can do that now, man. We ain't tripping on that part at all. I mean, the one that I'm still looking at, and obviously it's the package deal element. I want Devontae Adams. I just don't know if I want Rodgers. But I want Devontae. I'm like, I wanted him last year. We was talking about trading for him. Man, the dude could ball. We got the paper now. Dude could ball. But I feel like he's on this, like, where Rodgers going, he wants to go. I don't know if I'm there just yet. But when you got 50 of them things available to you to have a little bit of fun this offseason, all that becomes a part of the conversation, man. Or is it the T. Higgins, right? Because T is nice, but, I mean, we got the money to play now. It's a little bit different. We ain't got to just settle now, all right? We ain't got to settle. We can go out there and take our time with this thing, man. Now, Brandon Griffin says that Devontae Adams is getting old and he does not seem to have much dog in him these days. Now, I will say this. Is he getting older? Yes. I think the dog is still in him. The production is still there. He's still highly talented. I just think that for him, I just question mentally. I don't want to say he checks out because you still see the craft and that's why he still produces. But I will say it's almost like his fight gets like just, I don't know, put out a little bit, man, as the season gets longer or as the season wears on. You look at him in Vegas and it was like, man, as the season goes on and they're getting their head beat in back to back to back to back to back. It's like, dang, man, he really, trying to be all the way out there like that. But when he is out there, he still produces. You see him take shots, but it's just like you hear him just say certain things where it's like, man, I'm not trying to be a part of this. So I don't necessarily think that that's him not having the dog in him. I just think that at this stage for him, he's just not willing to settle for losing or settle for mediocrity. And when he's feeling like that's what the organization is pushing, which when you think about his time in Vegas and obviously his time with the Jets, both of those teams at various points had pretty much committed to being just okay, just, average, not even average. When you think about it, just firing their coach in the middle of the season. We know what Vegas has done multiple times with coach and quarterback while he's been out there. So I just think it was more of that. But like I said, man, by making this, move with a Preston Smith, releasing him, creating that $50 million, a guy like Devontae Adams for certain is available to you, man. He's in your price range if you want to go get him. So like I said, man, that's the part that like I said, we will see. We will definitely see how this thing goes. But I know y'all bringing up the other guy, Larry, because you can also save some paper with Larry. You can also save some paper with Larry. That is one of the ones that I am a little bit worried about. I'm like, yo, and when I say worried, it's not from a business standpoint. It's the personal element. Business-wise, yeah, we all know that does make sense to make that type of move. Why? Because it's going to clear up another chunk of space. And from there, man, you got a chance to get younger, whether you want to go draft or signing guys in free agency. You obviously heard me talk about Milton Williams, a guy that I was really high on in Philadelphia as a guy that could come in here and provide you some nice production for the position. I think of those type of guys, man, but that's what I mean by from the business side. Yeah, it makes a lot of sense. The personal side is, man, I just know the homie, man. I've known this dude, back when he was at UNC Charlotte. You know what I mean? Like I remember seeing him, little Alex Heisman. I call him little Alex Heisman because they were literally in college while I was in Pittsburgh, you know what I mean, in the league. But, so seeing them, man, seeing just the growth on and off the field. I mean, this dude was nominated Walter Man of the Year. It's the personal element. I'm like, dang, bro, like, come on, man. I don't want to see that. So that's the part for me where, like I said, it does suck a little bit. But, if you're just talking from a business standpoint, yeah, that makes sense to make that type of move, man. So we will see, though, man, how that plays out. But that's the business part. No different than we're talking about Preston Smith as well, man. But you already know the drill, man. Hit that like button one time for the culture and subscribe if you are new to the channel.